Okay, coming back in. So you want to draw many awesome things, right? You want to learn and articulate your vision to gain a foundational understanding of the building blocks of design, and then continue to use those building blocks to shape and sculpt many worlds, many characters, action, scenes, and to create a scaffolding for learning from all these amazing teachers, doing all of these amazing exercises, until your mind and every dream of your heart becomes an open canvas, and you can apply yourself and everything you learn to every new dream as it comes to you. But where is the starting point? And I would say every day, the starting point is to start putting lines on paper and to get your muscles ready to take on another day of arts and arts practice. You know, most designers will tell you the line is the, foundation of the building blocks of design. Every shape, every form is built out of lines, and lines create the framework. They create the space that you can draw in with your gestural and loose movements. They create a shape to give these forms depth and life. So just to create a box and to draw a number of lines to figure out what that angle is for you, so that if you have to hit a straight line, you can turn your page so that you can hit it at the perfect angle that aligns to your muscles. For me, it is that diagonal cut angle, up and out, and it varies somewhat from designer to designer. So after that, something that I like to do is to do a kind of grid of lines. You start just doing a number of straight lines in the same direction. You can do a whole bunch of different lengths and speeds. But then once you get a pretty solid handle for lines, you're going to be drawing lines in all sorts of directions. And to be able to create a grid of lines that makes a sort of perspective is totally handy. That's huge. So there, and then as you're drawing lines back, try and space them where they are nearer and nearer. So you create like a space, And then as you're gesturally drawing, you can imagine forms in this space. Yeah. And then if you're drawing characters, instantly it kind of reads as a space. Really fun. To do a series of curved lines is good. You could draw curved lines around a kind of object and make some forms in space. Do that more accurately. Yeah. It's making a series of forms. And give yourself the space and the wiggle room to mess up. And you can draw forms that change in direction, And here, as it's angled in, you draw a lot more lines, a few less there as it angles back up, and less, and less. So you get how this space is bending away from us into space, so it covers a lot more ground than like a flat space turned towards us. Yeah. And once you get these building blocks of design down, then you gain more from the things that you're referencing. Yeah, you gain more from things that you're referencing. You gain more from time that you spend in like a free-form design space. Like you can imagine the three-dimensional space of the ideas that you're articulating with your design and design sense. We kind of lost that. Next thing is like drawing a number of shapes in space. We covered this just a little bit, but it's something that's always like a really good exercise to go through and not a hassle to put together. And then once you have a space, you can draw some characters, right? And like a big ass plant monster thing, or anything. It obviously doesn't have to be a plant monster. It can be a robot, it could be a wolf thing, it could be a dragon, it could be any kind of just abstract shape that a wizard has brought to life. Anything in the world. Yeah. And different characters, they don't all have to be humans. Different guys. Yeah. And instantly you're creating like this scene, it's got an architecture that ties it together. So like you're thinking of these forms in relation to one another and as they move in space. And that was something that really, it moves between designing for, your ideas for games, just building up a foundational design that you could use to work on films and stories. If your friend had a novel or Dungeons and Dragons campaign and they wanted you to create some of the scenes and characters from it, you have a skill set that applies towards all of these things. As you draw forms rotating in space, just to draw like, to draw a cylinder, to draw a cylinder, and then try and make that cylinder accurate, and then create a point, move it back because of foreshortening, and then, you can draw lines to get the way all of these platforms move out from that space. That's a really, really good exercise, and you can use it to get a good idea for this cylinder and this rotation of all of these platforms. But it's also good to try your hand at how well you can do this without that guide. And to go back and forth between them, to use guides that create an architecture for your frames, like, drawing things within a vanishing point. Set up a traditional perspective grid, and there's all kinds of tools that you can use to create various grids of perspective. But then creating your own freehand, freeform versions of these different, design architectures. Oh, okay, I have cat care to do. But things like this, and then even if you have like, a block that creates space and you're doing gestural exercises where you're just like exercising your arm, if you're exercising your arm, you can also think of like, okay, you're building some kind of shapes, and even if it's just a bunch of scribbles here, a bunch of scribbles here, a bunch of scribbles, they work as placeholders for objects and characters. So while you're exercising your muscles and getting your muscles going for a day of arts and design, just doing things where you do a whole bunch of curved lines, and to do curved lines at different points where you're trying to like capture one accurate line so that your muscle memory aligns to the image that you hold in your mind, so that when you're drawing a character and you want to draw their ear and you like imagine this shape down, when you go to draw it, the muscle memory kicks in accurately. So as you're creating a mental map, you're also creating reflexive muscle memory that aligns to this mental map. Like if I try and draw with my left hand, it's quite difficult, but I still can use all of the mental architecture, the things that shapes I have memorized will still come into play, but your muscles don't accurately jump to that image that you hold in your mind instantly. It takes just like deliberate intent and focus as you build step by step that muscle memory and make it your own, make it unique, just like your handwriting, just like your language and your voice when you're writing. You will develop your own preferences and your personality, and your unique personality and imagination, what you bring to the table, is expressly valuable. And in time, like if you want to take your personality out of your work, if you're getting like a studio job so that you can do like generic work of a designer, in time, your personality and your presence, your imagination will become something that's uniquely and expressly valuable in your work that people come to you for, something that only you can do. Like no one else can tell your stories, no one else can dream your dreams. Same way no one else can live your life, eventually you've got like a relationship, you've got a family. They don't have a different husband or father or, brother. There's so many people in your life that uniquely count on you. So that's what I put points in, to being yourself so that you can be the highest level version of yourself, and to give you the confidence that you can accomplish anything, man. You can accomplish anything, man or woman, anything you set your mind to. And drawing and design creates a space where you can, set your mind to anything and then use your skills to bring it to life. So with our mission, have fun in the design space, happy designing. Try and fill that space of joy. Joy is a good scaffolding with which to focus. We'll maybe go over some gym quick and art stuff for, just how to engage your highest level of concentration and focus with natural skills that you can learn and build from exactly where you're at. Have fun. Peace and love.